So we got a question from a viewer the other day that we thought might make an interesting video, asking, quote, I'm looking to buy a used pram, but I was wondering if you would recommend a used Bugaboo Buffalo, Fox 2, or Fox 3, or should I go for a used Nuna Mixx Next or Cruz V2? I like all of these prams, so what would you recommend is best to purchase used? There are multiple differences between these models, of course. But, assuming that all would equally fit the viewer's lifestyle, meaning preferably somewhat urban and pedestrian versus car-based, and also that all of them would fit the viewer's terrain needs, I thought that today it might be fun to briefly address whether it's worth buying these models secondhand on the current market. And starting off with the Bugaboo models then, while I love the Buffalo for its simpler, more sturdy, and more terrain-capable build versus the Fox models, it's important to note that it's been off the market for a while now at this point. And while it is still possible to occasionally find some lightly used models out there, or better, models where the chassis has been replaced at some point, the Buffalo is definitely a stroller that you'll want to look over thoroughly before purchasing. We actually did a video on buying and refurbishing Buffalos rather recently, and I've put a link to that video in the description for anybody who, like me, feels that it's still a stroller worth getting despite its age. When it comes to the Fox 2 and Fox 3, with both of these models, there's unfortunately a chance when buying secondhand that there might be something wrong with the highly complex folding mechanism that may not be easy to assess before purchasing. And even though the Fox 3 is a bit of a safer choice in this regard versus the Fox 2, due to some of the mechanical updates made with its release, with both models, in my opinion, one really ought to factor in the cost of potentially needing to buy a replacement chassis as well. And while most of the time this may still make a secondhand Fox a good deal versus buying the current iteration new, at the present moment, the Fox 3 is sold discounted as a new purchase as a result of the release of the Fox 5, where it also now comes with a 4-year guarantee. Meaning that, if one is looking at getting the model used instead, the price would actually have to be really sweet to make it worth it. Alright, moving on, I need to start by saying that I'm not really a big fan of the Mixx Next. I don't like the bendy feel of the chassis created by the thin central struts and the design of the suspension. I don't like how it folds, or at least how it is to lift after folding. And I really don't like the size of the seat, which can get quite cramped for a lot of kids by around 2 years old or so. But that being said, if anyone out there is interested in getting this model secondhand, then it is admittedly a relatively hardy stroller, not overly complex in most of its mechanisms, and built predominantly with strong components. I don't have a lot of experience with Nuna in terms of how good they are with after-sales service or providing spare parts, though I kinda doubt that they're as good as Bugaboo or Uppababy in this regard. But the Mixx Next is not, for the most part, a weak model, and could potentially be worth getting secondhand, provided, as with all of these strollers, that you look it over before buying. And last up then is the Cruz V2, which could potentially make a good used buy, provided that you can get it for a good price, since it's a strong stroller overall, where the key wear areas, the brakes, swivel locks, and wheels, are all easy to assess when looking at a potential purchase. And Uppababy has also shown themselves to be quite friendly when it comes to keeping spare parts available down the line. That being said, I rarely see V2 Uppababy models discounted sufficiently on the used market in our region to justify buying them secondhand versus buying new with a guarantee. And unless this is different where you live, and a used Cruz V2 is something like half the new price, or comes with enough additional kit to make it truly attractive, then I would note that, of all these models, the Cruz V2 generally has the most friendly price when purchased new anyway, which is something to consider in my opinion. In any case, we hope you found this video interesting, and if you did, please subscribe, as this sort of support helps us to continue making videos in the future. If you'd like to know more about any of these models, we have standalone reviews for all of them that go into a lot more detail, and links have been added in the description. In addition, if you're currently shopping for a stroller, we have a buyer's guide on our Patreon page which lists a wide range of models that we recommend, with a lot of technical and lifestyle related information. You can find it by following the link in the description as well. Thank you.